Yeah. So we are talking about single payment. So if you check this box, no partial payments allowed. Let's say the transaction value is 1 lakh rupees. You're not giving option to pay in installments. He has to settle amount in one go, single payment. That is what your single payment option. I'm selecting this as well. So correspondence and insurance are not relevant for us. Okay. What happened? It's stuck. Mhm. Let me refresh again. Sometimes it stuck. Mhm. So give it some time. I think it has to refresh. Yes. So we don't use this correspondence and insurance. These are used by finance team. There is something called Dunning data, which better to know, but we don't use it. Dunning means sending reminders if customer is not paying amount in time. Let's say I have credit card dues. So what they do, they regularly send me notifications to pay amount. That is what you are dunning. First level dunning, second level dunning, third level. So after third, they'll send person to my home to collect amount. So that is what dunning means. Okay. So we don't need this. This is not part of SD, but just leave it. So insurance, the customer insurance details will be maintained here, but we don't use it in SD. So just leave it. Then going back to sales area data. So in sales area data, you will have four tabs: sales, shipping, billing documents, and partner functions. Sales, shipping, billing documents, and partner functions. So starting from sales, whatever information you maintain in sales or shipping or billing document, when you create a sales order for this customer, this entire information will flow to, will flow to sales order. But sales data is used in sales order processing. Shipping data is used in delivery processing, delivery related basic functions. Billing documents information is used in billing functionality. So it may be using system may be using these sections, shipping and billing documents data in uh, other transactions, other levels, but we copy it to sales order because ultimately billing or delivery should copy data from sales order. So first source of this data is from customer number. It directly copies this system directly copies this data from customer master to sales order. From there, the subsequent transactions will be picked. Will be picking data from sales order. Okay. So now sales, shipping, and billing documents information is called business data. That means this data is used in processing business transactions, right? That is the reason we call it as business data. And this is our part, and you should know each and every option here. Majorly, there are few options. Let's say sales district. Sales district means, so like our geographical or political districts in every state, business will have its own state or districts based on their operational convenience. Okay. So maybe in Karnataka you may have some 20 to 25 districts, but for business they'll make entire Karnataka as 10 districts. So that is specific to Tata uh, business. Okay. To do their business conveniently, they may divide total Karnataka state into 10 districts instead of 25 political districts. So If I am from Bangalore, they'll assign me what under what districts I fall. Okay, so now let's say I say northern region here. I belong to northern region. So that, like this, you can assign a district here. Sales office and sales group are from your enterprise structure. So I can directly assign those entities here, 005. Then customer group. So the customer group means what kind of customer he is. So maybe I'm a government customer. I'm a contractor who constructs roads and bridges for government. So I'm a government customer or public sector. I belong to public sector. Maybe government. If not, maybe I'm a private entity who is undertaking government contracts, then I can say private customer. I mean, Tata will classify me as private customer. So like this, you can have a competitor, public sector, private customer, development partner, wholly owned. Like this, you will have different customer groups. You can choose what kind of group a particular customer belong to. Now I'll say private customer for me. I'll classify me as private customer for Tata. Okay, you can also create your own entries here. Let's say you do not belong to any of these groups, then you can go and create your own group for this customer. Okay, we can also create. I'll show you that. Wait. Then ABC classification. So everywhere, even for a material or a customer, if you take a business, you will have ABC classifications. What are these ABC classifications? Let's say I'll go with Tata is going to classify customers based on their promptness in payment. So once a customer who do not delay payment is he belong to class A. If I am a regular customer and I'm not delaying payments, then I'll be classified as B. Sorry, A. Let's say now and then there are breaches. So I missed some payments beyond due dates. I did not pay in time. Then very few cases, then I'll go B. Then there is a customer who is always delaying payments, then I'll classify him as C. But he pays, but always misses the due date. Then he is C, classified as C. So this is one of the criteria. You can take any criteria to classify, let's say based on revenues. Okay. Profit margin, what he contributes, or the sales value. So like that, you can classify A, B, C classifications. Okay. This is A. I'll select A here. And currency, I always deal with INR. That is the reason I'll assign INR here. So the currency here says in which currency customer deals with our business. Then switch off rounding. This rounding is for product rounding. So there is an option in materials management called rounding profile. So what it does, using this rounding profile, we can round quantity to minimum order quantity. That means, let's say if you're buying something from a company, they don't give you in pieces. They'll maintain minimum order quantity. Like you have to purchase, let's say 100 pieces minimum. That is your minimum order quantity. So it switches off that rounding. Okay. So for now it is not relevant. We'll talk about this later. Then you have order probability here. Okay, that is also not relevant now. For now, just leave it. So importantly, you have this customer pricing procedure, which is very important for pricing. If you don't have this customer pricing procedure in sales area data of a customer, then you cannot create sales orders for this customer. Okay, you will get an error that we will talk about later. So maintain price group, that means you have a customer group for pricing purpose. See, you will see several criteria of grouping customers in this customer master records. You have a sales group, you have customer group here, you have ABC classifications, you have authorization group, you have UOM group. So many groups are there. So based on the business functionality, you may be using several groups of customers. Okay. So this group, price group, is used in calculating prices. Let's say bulk buyer, occasional buyer, new customers. Bulk buyer, what is the use of this pricing group? Bulk buyer, give him more discount. Let's say 10% off on everything what he purchases. Occasional buyer, okay, he purchases now and then give him less discount. New customer, no discount at all. Okay, so like this, these groups can be used. Okay, there will be other. See, now you have price list. This price list means based on customer you can assign price list for a particular. Let's say you have a product which is sold in multiple countries, same product in 10 different countries. So you can have separate pricing criteria based on price list. You create price list per country, then maintain prices based on country differently for same material. Okay, so then you have customer statistics group. This is another classification, we don't use it. So just remember customer pricing procedure, which is important, and you have to assign one here. Then coming to shipping, delivery priority. So delivery priority means on what priority we have to create deliveries to him. High, normal, low, next day, today, 2 days, ground. So I'll say high means this is a high profile customer. We should not delay deliveries to him. If we have stock, first priority goes to this guy. Okay, so that is what your delivery priority means. Then you have shipping conditions. On what basis? The shipping conditions, I don't see any business use for now. It is used in shipping point determination and storage location determination and route determination in SAP. Okay, just remember you have a field called shipping conditions, which is mandatory in customer master. Okay, I am assigning 01 now. So delivering plan means from which plant this customer prefer to take deliveries. Let's say Tata is having plants across India, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Mumbai, Kolkata, Delhi. So since I belong to Bangalore, I'll ask him to deliver from nearby plant. Even business prefers to deliver goods to me from nearby plant because they can save some transportation cost. So this plant is again our enterprise structure plant. Okay, then you have order combination here. Order combination is nothing but combining multiple orders into single delivery. Let's say over a week period, I have, Tata created 10 sales orders to me. There are 10 open sales orders to me, to this customer, let's say to Prasad, which are not yet created, delivered. Okay, so I am asking to deliver next week, let's say 9th of April, all the deliveries. So all the sales orders which are created over a week period should be delivered on 9th only. That is what my requirement for me. That means my delivery date for all the orders is 9th. Maybe 5th or 6th or 7th, there are due. So, but stock is not available. So on 9th, they have received stock for all the orders. At that time, they can combine all these 10 orders into one single delivery because same customer, right? So that is up to me whether to get a single delivery for all the sales orders or a separate delivery for each sales order. So if I check this order combination, that means I am accepting order combination into single delivery, multiple order combination into single delivery. If you don't check this, that means I am not allowing, I'm not uh, allowing order combination to single delivery. So that is what your order combination. Then you have relevant for POD. So check here. Relevant for POD means proof of delivery. What I did, so in previous delivery, previous sales order, when it was delivered, I have received products, but I have again argued with business saying that I have not received. Maybe it's because of some misunderstanding. Let's say someone on behalf of me has received stocks, but I didn't notice that, I forgot that, or maybe the receiver did not notify me that he has received stocks. Okay, I did a follow up to customer, and it took time. I troubled them. I troubled business that they did not deliver goods to me. So from then they started asking for POD. Whenever they deliver goods to me, they take a proof of delivery, a signed copy of a delivery challan that saying I have received goods on so and so date, and it is received in good quality and good, not in damaged condition. Okay. So maybe when a Flipkart guy deliver goods to you, they used to come with a form and they used to ask you to sign on at the end of a line. That is what your POD, proof of delivery. If you want to record proof of delivery in SAP system, you have to activate this button. So whenever you create a delivery for this customer, it will ask you to enter proof of delivery copy. Assign a proof of delivery copy into delivery processing. Okay, that is what your POD. Then, so you can give time frame also. Proof of delivery time 10 or 15. This is a text field. It is not relevant. Just leave it. Then you have partial deliveries and also complete delivery required by law. So what do you mean by complete delivery? Let's say I am ordering 100 laptops now. So if I check this box, complete delivery required by law, there is no partial delivery allowed. Let them deliver, whatever date they wanted to. But I need to receive 100 pieces in one delivery, one shipment, one consignment. That is what my requirement. I will not accept partial deliveries for my orders. Now, if my requirement is not to accept partial deliveries, then check this complete delivery required by law. Okay. Let's say since I'm a regular customer to business, they convince me to take partial deliveries. So I'll say, okay, partial deliveries are allowed. I'll select this option, partial deliveries are allowed, but you should deliver it in maximum 3 deliveries. Deliver all these 100 products, 100 pieces of laptops in 3 consignments. Okay, so that is what my requirement. So you have option to allow partial deliveries, and you can restrict number of partial deliveries also. Okay, now there is a catch here. I am allowing partial deliveries allowed for this customer, and I check this complete delivery required by law. So you cannot choose both the options, complete delivery required by law and partial delivery is allowed, because you are saying complete delivery, but here you are also allowing partial deliveries. So there is a conflict. So either you can mark complete delivery or partial deliveries. That's it. Okay. So I'm going with partial deliveries, and maximum number of partial deliveries are 3. Then tolerances. If I click on unlimited tolerance, that means Let's say I ordered 10,000 kgs of steel from Tata Steel. Let's say 1 lakh kilos kgs. They have huge stock in their place. Okay, they may send me 2 lakh kilos. If I check this, my order quantity is 1 lakh kilos, but because I mean, if they have excess stock, I have an agreement with them. If you have excess stock, you can send any, I mean any excess quantity. If there is no stock, they can send 50,000 kgs also. That is what your unlimited tolerance. There is no restriction on the over delivery and uh, under delivery. That is unlimited tolerance. That means you are accepting any tolerance. If you order for 1 lakh kgs, that means let's say 1 lakh kgs means how it comes, how many tons?
1,000 tons.
Yeah, 1,000 tons, let's say 1,000 tons. So they can deliver 50 tons or 1 ton also if you accept this unlimited tolerance. Let's say you allow under delivery and over delivery, but only by 10%. So you can, with this setting, under delivery, if you order for 1,000 tons, if they don't have stock, company don't have stock, then they can send up to 90 tons. Okay, sorry, 900 tons, 10%, right? 900 tons, 10% deviation. Let's say think, quantity, we'll take quantity, what will be a good example. If I order 100 quantity, 100 pieces of something, a product, then they can deliver 90. If they try to deliver 89 pieces, system will not allow. System will not create delivery for that order. That is what your under delivery tolerance 10% here. Over delivery tolerance means yes, you can deliver excess stock, but 10% more than order quantity. You should not exceed more than 10%. That is what your over delivery tolerance. Okay. Then billing documents section. You have invoicing dates and invoice list dates and rebates. When we are talking about sales organization creation, I said like rebates process active, right? This is one more rebate process active at customer level. Okay. If you want to give rebates to this customer, you have to check this box. Okay. Now, coming to invoicing dates. So invoicing dates is nothing but, let's say you have a retail store. There is a distributor who delivers goods to you on daily basis. Daily he comes up with a vehicle and drops something at your place. That means he gives something. So what he does, instead of giving billing document every day, he'll give billing document once in a week. For the deliveries, whatever delivered within this week will be billed at the end of the week. Let's say every Monday. Every Monday he'll bill. He'll create a billing document. Maybe you request him, boss, don't give me billing documents every day. I may miss it. Give me billing documents once in a week. Then he'll assign a calendar saying that every Monday is a billing date for this customer. You can see that later. So you can control billing creation based on this invoicing dates. Then there is something called invoice list dates. Okay. Invoice list is nothing but the list of invoices. Let's say he is giving invoices on daily basis, but you will be missing it in your day-to-day busy schedule. You may miss one or two at the end of the month. You miss to pay them. What happens? So company will remind you for payment. So to avoid this inconvenience, you will ask him to give a list of invoices at the end of the month. Okay. So on which date this invoice list should be generated. You assign a calendar here. So every month, last working day or 31st every month. 30 or 31st. You can assign a date calendar here so that system will bill you, create a billing list, that is invoice list at the end of the month. That is what your invoicing list states. So then you have Incoterms. Incoterms means internationally accepted shipping terms and conditions. Incoterms. So these are very important for cross-border transactions. So for now you maintain something here. You will have part 1 and part 2. Incoterms part 1 and part 2. So CFR is standard Incoterms. Let's say how it goes is it is used in shipping cost calculation, freight calculation. Incoterms are used in freight calculation. CFR means cost and freights. Cost of the transportation and the entire cost of the transportation should be paid by the customer. That is what cost and freight. Freight free. CPT means freight free. No, we give a free delivery to this customer. That is what your CPT means. So based on this, you define your freight. We have a condition type called KF00 to calculate freights. There you use this Incoterms. Okay, for now just select CFR and Bangalore. I'll tell you what is the use of this BLR also. Then terms of payment. Terms of payment means payment terms which we have seen in finance, company code data. So this company code data payment terms are used in financial accounting processes. But for sales documents, you have to have this payment terms updated. So I have chosen 3 over there, again 3 here. That means I'll have 45 days time. Then I have account assignment group of customer. So this is used in revenue account determination. Domestic revenues, foreign revenues. Just select domestic revenues now. For now, I'll explain this functionality later in detail in revenue account determination topic. Okay. So then you have different taxes, tax categories, and you have to maintain whether this customer is eligible for, liable for tax or not. Yes, he is liable for tax. Option 1 means tax classification. This field is called tax classification. If you assign 1 means, yes, this customer is liable for tax. So that is what your tax information in billing document section of sales area data. Then go to partner functions. You will see sold to party, ship to party, bill to party, payer here. So the number is not yet generated because I have not saved it. So sold to party means who creates sales order. Ship to party means to whom we ship goods. Bill to party means to whom we hand over billing copies. Payer is the one who pays, settles the amount to the business. So these are called mandatory for partner functions in SAP. To create any sales document, you need these mandatory for partner functions. Okay, that is why they are appearing automatically here, and there is a setting behind that to appear these 4 partner functions automatically. So we will talk about that in partner functions. So for now, just save it. It creates a number for this customer Prasad. Let it save, it takes time. Okay, so So this is the customer number system generated for Prasad. Now from now on, Prasad is identified with this customer number in this business. Now I'll go to change mode of customer number. So let's complete the processing. I'll go to XD02. This is my customer number. Okay. I want to show you an option here. Few options, let's say. Here you have customer group, correct? Let's say I don't have a relevant customer group now. I need to create a few more entries here like Z1, Z2, Z3 customer groups with different names to classify this customer. How do you do that? So for any, let's say you want to create a sales district, you can create new sales district. Okay. Then shipping, it is not relevant here. If you go to general data, marketing section, see here, you want to create Nielsen IDs, new Nielsen IDs, new customer classifications. See, new customer classifications. How can I add all remaining values here? Let's say I want to add few more values here in this selection. So in customization, in SPRO menu, you have option SPRO, reference IMG, sales and distribution, master data, business partner, customer, because these values we need in customer master, right? So if you go to marketing section, section wise, you have options to create entries here. I'll go to marketing tab. See here, Nielsen ID. Yes, you can create Nielsen ID here. Go to click on this processing button. You can add new entries, else N1, ID1. Okay. Then N2, ID. Like this, you can add new entries. If you see Nielsen IDs here, if you expand the selection, this radial button gives you selection options. This button. Click on this. See, this N1 and N2 are here. This is what our core configuration means. Okay. So this is where we involve in business, projects. Let's say business want to create 10 more Nielsen IDs here. So you come here, they give you names and IDs. You come and add here and save it. Then they will appear here. So this is how you can add values to customer numbers. So then classifications. You have very few now. If you go here, customer classifications, so values will be same here and there. See, you can add new values here, new entries here. Okay, for customer classifications. Then legal statuses you can add here. See, legal statuses, new legal statuses can be added here. If I add here, they'll appear here. Then industry sector, this one, you can add new industry sectors here, industry sector codes. Okay. Then if you go to sales, you can see options. You can define customer groups, sales districts, reserve fields in customer master. So reserve field means, click on this, customer group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you go to additional data, go to sales area data, additional data. Okay, not from here, sorry. So from here, go to extras, additional data. If you want to add values here, group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you can go and create values from here. See, group 1 is having, customer group 1 is having So this is extra grouping criteria, guys. Why I need extra grouping criteria? Because if I use all the existing options for my business functions, if I want to use any group, then you cannot use. If I consume all the grouping criteria, these are provided as reserve grouping criteria. You can use. So now I have only 01 and 02. Here, if you expand it to the selection option, you have only 01 and 02. But here, when you add, let's say 03, that will appear here. Okay. Like this. I have not added description. That is the reason there is no description for this. Okay, this is how you can create different values. I mean, selection values, add values to your fields. Okay, so sales districts can be created, new sales districts. Then in shipping, you have options like delivery priorities, customer calendars. I said right, billing calendars, define goods receiving hours. Okay, so unloading points, you can add them. So we'll talk about this later again. So then in billing section, you can billing schedule, terms of payments, define Incoterms. You can define Incoterms also, new Incoterms. Okay, and you can define contact persons also. See? Contact persons, standard departments, contact person functions, what functions he can carry out. So this is again a separate function. Okay. So now finally, we have not discussed about unloading points in details. Let's go to unloading points in general data. So there is unique functionality about unloading points. Let's say I have unloading points BTM, HSR, Hebal, okay, and Yeshwantapur, like this. So you have to assign a calendar. This calendar is working calendar, working hours calendar for this unloading point. So for now, I'll go with factory calendar, that is 01 standard calendar, German standard. Okay, then you can also assign goods receiving hours. That means on weekly basis, you can maintain from morning to afternoon which time he'll receive goods. Let's say morning times, this guy will not receive goods. BTM, he'll not receive goods at all in morning times. Only afternoon, 4 to 9 p.m. So like this, I can maintain goods receiving hours manually. If you assign a goods receiving hours calendar here, then it takes automatically here. But I'm maintaining manually. Okay, like 4, 9. In all the days, 4, 9, 4, 9, 4, 9. Let's say weekend, Saturday and Sunday, no goods received, only in weekdays. So like this, I can assign goods receiving hours to a unloading point. Now, you have option called default here. Let's say I created a sales order. I have 4 unloading points now. But in my information purchase order, which I generated to create sales order, I have not maintained any unloading point. In that case, business will consider the unloading point which is marked as default one. If customer is not specifying any unloading point,